You know that feeling, right? That little itch to just go somewhere, explore. But then, oh boy, trying to get everyone on the same page, figure out dates, agree on what to do. It can feel like too much hassle sometimes.
Yeah, it really can. So this deep dive is for anyone who's felt that pull, but maybe hesitated about going it alone.
Exactly. We're digging into solo travel today.
We've been looking at a great conversation from the EDP English Dialogue podcast channel, featuring Mike and Emma talking all about their solo travel experiences.
And our mission here is basically to pull out the key stuff for you, why people do it, what the actual upsides are. The challenges definitely need to talk about those, and importantly, how to handle them.
Think of it as your quick guide, your shortcut to understanding the whole solo travel picture without having to wade through tons of info yourself.
Okay, let's get into it. What's the first push? Why do people actually choose to go solo? It seems, I don't know, a bit daunting maybe.
Well, one of the biggest things that came up again and again in Mike and Emma's chat was this idea of freedom, just pure, unadulterated freedom.
Freedom, how so?
You get to make all the decisions. Where you eat, when you wake up, whether you spend all day in one museum or just wander aimlessly. It's your itinerary, 100%.
Ah, no more negotiating. Do we have to go see another church? That kind of thing.
Exactly, you're the boss. But it's more than just logistics, like you hinted.
Right, it feels deeper than just convenient planning.
Definitely. The podcast really highlighted how it pushes you, stepping outside that comfort zone we all build around ourselves.
How does that work in practice?
Well, when you're alone in a new place, maybe trying to figure out the subway or order food when you don't speak the language, you have to rely on yourself.
No one else to lean on.
And every time you navigate one of those little challenges, it builds you up. It boosts your self-confidence in a really tangible way.
So even the slightly stressful bits, like getting lost or missing a bus, they actually end up being good for you.
In a way, yes. Mike and Emma talked about this self-discovery aspect. You learn, you're more resilient, more adaptable than you thought. You figure things out. It reveals strengths you didn't even know were there.
Okay, I'm starting to really see the appeal now. Beyond just avoiding arguments about dinner plans, what about the concrete benefits? What do people actually get out of it once they take the plunge?
Well, a big one is cultural immersion. When you don't have your friend or partner there as a sort of buffer, you're more likely to engage directly with the place.
You mean talking to locals, trying things you wouldn't normally?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're less likely to be stuck in your little bubble. You're more open, more present to what's actually happening around you, fewer distractions.
That makes sense. You're not just observing, you're in it.
And the flexibility is huge. Like, say you find an amazing little street market, or you hear about a local festival happening tomorrow. You can just change your plans instantly.
No need for a committee meeting.
Right. Mike and Emma even shared a story about someone who just decided, spur of the moment, to stay 3 extra days in this tiny village because they loved it so much. Try doing that easily with a group.
Huh, yeah, unlikely. That sounds incredibly freeing. What else did they find were major positives?
Mental health came up quite a bit. Solo travel can be a proper reset, a chance to genuinely relax, reflect, step away from the daily grind and all the noise.
A mental health break with amazing scenery. I can see that.
It's a real opportunity to reconnect with yourself, your own thoughts, without external pressures.
And they mentioned creativity, too. How does being alone boost creativity?
Think about it, new sights, new sounds, new challenges, constantly making decisions. It forces your brain to work differently. It can spark new ideas, new ways of looking at things.
Huh. Like shaking up your mental etch-a-sketch. Interesting. But what about meeting people? Isn't that the big worry? That it'll be lonely?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But actually, Mike and Emma found, and many solo travelers report, the opposite can be true.
Really?
When you're on your own, you often seem more approachable. Other travelers, locals, they might be more inclined to strike up a conversation than if you were already deep in chat with a companion.
So being solo can actually lead to more connections?
Often, yes. Unexpected chats in cafes, shared moments on tours. It can lead to some really meaningful, if sometimes brief, connections.
Okay, that's a nice counterintuitive point. But let's not sugarcoat it. There must be downsides. What are the real challenges people face?
Oh, absolutely. Loneliness is definitely real, especially on longer trips. There might be evenings where you really miss having someone to share the day's experiences with.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Seeing something amazing and having no one right there to turn to.
That feeling of isolation can creep in, and then there's safety. It's just a fact that traveling alone can sometimes feel or be more vulnerable.
Right. That's probably a major hurdle for a lot of people thinking about it.
It is. Increased awareness, maybe worrying about scams or just feeling a bit more exposed in certain situations. It requires vigilance.
Definitely. Any other big hurdles?
Just the sheer weight of responsibility, maybe. You're the planner, the navigator, the problem solver, the budget manager, everything,
You're the entire travel department.
pretty much.
No.
And that can be tiring, especially at first. Figuring out transport, finding places to stay, deciding where to eat every meal. It's a constant stream of decisions.
It sounds like it could be exhausting if you're not prepared. But the podcast did talk about ways to manage these things, didn't it?
Yes, absolutely. For the loneliness aspect, they suggested things like staying in hostels, which are naturally social environments, or maybe joining day tours or workshops.
So you can be solo when you want, but have social options built in.
Exactly. Mix and match. And for safety, the key is research, research, research. Know about the place you're going, understand local norms, be aware of your surroundings. Common sense stuff, but crucial.
And trusting your gut, too, I suppose.
Definitely trust your instincts. And to combat that feeling of being overwhelmed by logistics, use technology. Travel apps, maps, booking sites. They make planning and managing so much easier now.
Good point. Leverage the tools available. What else did Mike and Emma suggest?
Learning a few basic phrases in the local language, it goes such a long way. Makes interactions smoother, shows respect, and can really open doors.
Even just, hello, thank you, excuse me.
Absolutely. People appreciate the effort. Also, having a rough itinerary flexible, but a plan and keeping your documents safe, and maybe having copies. Basic, but important.
Sensible precautions? Anything else on tackling the challenges?
Finding a balance.
Yeah.
Embracing the solitude, but also making an effort to connect sometimes.
Mhm.
Don't just hide in your room.
Right. Be open to interactions.
And self-care, seriously important. Solo travel can be intense. Make sure you're eating well, getting enough rest, not trying to cram too much in. Avoid burnout.
It's easy to forget the basics when you're excited.
Very easy. And finally, embrace flexibility. Things will go wrong. A train will be late. A museum will be closed. Try to see those hiccups not as disasters, but as unexpected detours. Sometimes they lead to the best stories.
Turning lemons into lemonade. Travel style. I like it. Okay, so for someone listening now, maybe thinking, maybe I could try this, but feeling nervous. What's step one?
Start small. That was a big piece of advice from the podcast. Don't plan a 6-month trek through unfamiliar territory for your first solo trip.
Okay, so what does small look like?
Maybe a weekend trip to a city nearby you've never explored properly. Or choose a country that's well known for being safe and easy for tourists, especially solo ones. Just dip your toe in.
Test the waters. Makes sense. Then what?
Stay connected, especially that first time. Share your itinerary with someone back home, family, a friend. Check in regularly. Let them know where you are and that you're okay.
So it's not about vanishing off the face of the earth.
Not at all. It provides peace of mind for you and for them. And definitely have a backup plan.
Like what?
Know the emergency numbers. Have good travel insurance. Keep copies of your passport and visas separate from the originals, maybe digitally too. Just be prepared for what ifs.
Preparation builds confidence. Got it. And once you're actually there, on the trip.
Be present. Mike and Emma really stress this. Try not to experience the whole trip through your phone camera lens. Soak it in. Feel the place.
Put the phone down sometime.
Yes. And actively try to nudge yourself out of your comfort zone, even in small ways. Try that weird-looking fruit. Attempt a conversation using your phrasebook. Go to that local music performance.
Those are the memorable moments, usually.
They really are. Also, they suggested keeping a journal. Writing down your thoughts, feelings, what you saw. It's great for reflection and amazing to look back on later.
Capturing the inner journey as well as the outer one. Nice idea. Any last bits of encouragement?
Yeah, share your story afterwards. Talking about your solo trip might inspire someone else who's on the fence. And fundamentally, trust yourself. You're probably way more capable and resourceful than you give yourself credit for.
So wrapping up this deep dive, it really sounds like solo travel is this amazing, potent mix. It offers huge potential for growth, self-understanding, incredible experiences. But it's not something to just jump into blindly. It needs thought, preparation, and the right attitude, a willingness to be open and maybe a little bit brave.
That sums it up perfectly. Start small if you need to, stay connected, be prepared, but then just embrace it. Embrace the adventure.
So for everyone listening, as you go about your day, here's a thought. Forget travel for a second. What area in your life could maybe benefit from a little solo deep dive? Where could you explore something independently just for yourself, even in a small way, and see what you discover? Might be interesting.